We've got actual theming happening in the queue at the Haunted Mansion, plus a practical rumor on the inside. Don't miss this. Updates from Tiana's Bayou Adventure, Critter Country, Avengers Campus, and more, so get ready. And we'll start once more at the Disneyland Railroad, where I actually rope dropped the train to get an early start on things. I don't think I've ever rope dropped the train before, and because I did, I got to stand out there while the characters were greeting the early AM guests. This is at like 10 minutes to 8. Even when you're doing a construction report and not going to the parks, it's still better when you get to see and you get to see Pluto and Minnie dancing together and hearing that rope drop announcement. That's Disneyland. And then that rope did drop, and we'll head for the train. I was one of 2 people on the train on this morning. And we'll stop first at the New Orleans Square Station, as usual, before we head to Critter Country, and to see some cinder blocks wrapped. I think those are some staged cinder blocks there in the foreground, and it looks like a wall has been constructed. That's a wall right there. In between those 2 vertical green whatchamacallits, right? They're building. Things are going up in the exterior queue at the Haunted Mansion. That's just the beginning. Stay tuned. All right, let's take a look at Critter Country facing the Briar Patch. And we got, oh, look at that. Okay, we got gravel on the ground. That's a good sign. That means concrete is on the way. Looks like more Silva cells there in the bottom third also. That black section right there. Oh, and by the way, on the wall there, those are Silva cells as well. So they're getting ready to, probably right in that neighborhood, it's going to put another tree and some concrete, a planter of some kind, and then install those Silva cells around that. Let's go back. Got a form set up here right in front of that tree that they've been preserving. I'm not sure what that's for, but probably for that themed element that we've seen in the model for this queue space. And a big giant ditch still exists back there next to the Briar Patch. They have yet to fill that in. That's still in progress. The Briar Patch looks to be exposed, perhaps. That right wall may have come down a little bit. Oh dear. And then as we pass the barn, I didn't notice this at first, but they're cutting down a tree. That guy's literally cutting down that tree right there, just to the left as we pass that spire on the barn. That tree's coming down. I never like to see trees lost. That bums me out. But I'm sure they have a reason. Turn the camera around and look at the entrance to Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Ooh, that's a lot of gravel. Quite a lot of gravel. It goes dirt, gravel, concrete. So we're very close. They're going to start smoothing that out and spreading that around and start putting concrete on top of that. Well, rebar. I should say, yeah, dirt, gravel, rebar. Then the concrete gets poured. So that's a good sign. And if you're looking for clues on what's going on at Winnie the Pooh, not much. Just maintenance. Those guys are painting the fence there, the wooden fence. You'll notice that they have stripped it. Well, either that or they put a new primer on. That brown right there in the lower left, in the lower third of the frame, is the old color. And then they either stripped it or put just a layer of primer over that. And then now they're going to repaint the fence again to its final color. I don't believe that this will be the final color. Taking the train all the way back to the main entrance, and we'll stop over at Walt's apartment above the Main Street Fire Department. And it looks like whatever they're doing back there in that little patio area is done. And it definitely does look to me like some sort of terraced viewing area. There's nothing set up for people to sit on, but I expect that would be added when the event happens. But that is almost assuredly some sort of VIP viewing area. Work still in progress at the Emporium next door. Same for the gift shop on Main Street. No visual updates, obviously, but you could definitely hear a lot of whooping and hollering going on behind that scrim. They are hard at work on something back there. And then quick update on Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln. Still closed, obviously. The latest that I've heard is that whatever it is that the Lincoln animatronic is gone. It's not there anymore. So it's offsite. So they are doing something to the Lincoln animatronic specifically, and perhaps who knows what else. But with the Lincoln animatronic gone, that means it's getting a refurb as well. Standing by to see if that rumor is true about the changes to the turntable and or a Walt animatronic. Meanwhile, the 100th is still there. You can still check out the 100th anniversary exhibit and that sort of miniature model of the multiplane camera, one of the most historically significant things you'll ever see or hear about in terms of Disney animation, that thing. Let's get back in the park. Indiana Jones is closed when we walk by. Very common occurrence when I do these construction updates. Also common is the fact that the buckets are not working again at the Adventureland Treehouse. Probably our last stop up the treehouse, though, because there's just simply nothing happening on top of Tiana's Bayou Adventure. The dome, the top of the mountain, is done. There hasn't been scaffolding or any visible work happening here for a little while, so I don't really see any reason to climb up here anymore. This is what a completed mountain is going to look like from the top. On the way down, though, we can kind of see some evidence of things happening in the Haunted Mansion queue. Well, I should say the New Orleans Square queue. This is a section that's the Magnolia Gardens area. This will not be, well, part of this will not be the Haunted Mansion queue. Only half of it will be. But we can see back there a little bit. There's the brick wall. You can see the red brick wall that separates the rear queue from the front queue. And there's a guy working right there. And you can see the change in elevation. He's going up and down. So there's still a sizable space that has been dug up there. He's still having to negotiate some kind of hole in the ground back there. What he's doing, I couldn't say. And then from the ground, we can get a look at that brick wall again and the retaining wall behind it and the fence. That's nearer to the actual mansion itself. Not much else to see there, though. I went back to the train station again to see if I can get a better view of what's happening on the ground. The Silva cells are no longer in frame, so they've either moved them or they're getting ready to install them. But what you can see again, though, is those concrete cinder blocks back there. Stay tuned. We've got another development on that. Stay tuned when we get on the Mark Twain. From the ground, Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Again, that's a completed crown to this hill. No action here again. It's going to be a while before we see anything happen at the gift shop, as I understand it. They're going to wait until the queue space is near done before they start putting in that mountain. There's the tree that's going to get planted soon. Guys, just below that fence line is some really fascinating, wonderful updates that I can't wait to show you. Hang in there. I swear, we're going to get there. Turning around, not a lot of work happening at all in the mountain in general at Tiana's. No guys down here fixing the return. I can't really see what progress they've made on theming that wall back there. Same for the top of the drop. And then again, here's another section as we pan to the right a little bit and push in and focus. You can see this side of Tiana's is done. Everything, the tower and everything to the right of it is done. That's complete. Right? What else could they be doing there? I don't know. Okay, here we go. Let's get on the Mark Twain now to get into some good stuff. This is the stuff you've been waiting for. Here we go. Looking back, you can see that they're beginning to build the wall. It's more than just the rebar, the vertical rebar there. It looks like they're beginning to build that wall for the planter in front of the New Orleans Square Station. The number 3, there's the Silva cells. We found them. They have moved the Silva cells, so they're getting ready. Back to the front of the Haunted Mansion. No action here at the gift shop, although I do see some cast down. There's some construction workers, or I thought I did, getting into something. Then back to the left there again. Yeah, that's still dirt, but they're about ready to put that in. It looks like. There it is. Okay, now we're at the pet cemetery. Do you guys see it? Do you see it? Last week, those were cinder blocks where those two construction workers are. Last week, it was cinder blocks. This week, they have put on the red brick veneer on top of those cinder blocks. They are adding theming, design, character to the queue space out here in front of that brick wall. This is the front queue space. Look at that. Look at it. It's like it never happened. It's like they never took it down. We've been waiting a long time to see something like that, and it's starting to happen. We're starting to go, definitely, we're going forward here. And you can see also, if we pause, just forward in frame of that white cylindrical object, it looks like they have poured concrete there. That looks like new concrete to me. And you can see more cinder blocks. Oh, you know what those are? Those cinder blocks are the two vertical red brick entryway pillars, I think. Yeah, that has to be. Fantastic. It's all happening. There's the tree again. And a big pile of dirt. That's still going for that rear queue. That's still going into that space. There's still a big hole in the back. Now, that's not all. That's just half of the cool stuff that's happening, or that is happening this week at the Haunted Mansion. We can't see inside. You remember, guys, a few weeks ago, I was shocked to see Imagineers walking into the Haunted Mansion. I was like, why would they be going into unless they're going to be inspecting a show element or something? Unless it was something new. They don't go in there to inspect the old stuff. You don't need Imagineers for that. That's just regular maintenance cast working on any kind of, small changes to the attraction. We did also hear about, by the way, that they are putting projections on the hitchhiking ghosts and the mirrors at the very end of the attraction. We know that's one thing that they've updated. They're no longer going to be the practical effect. They're going to be projections in the mirrors, just like they do at Walt Disney World. I'm hearing that they also have updated the Bride, where the hitchhiking ghosts are going to be projections. The Bride in the attic is not going to be a projection. They are moving away from the projected faces to give them more animation and more life. She's going to be just an animatronic. Now, to what degree, how good the animatronic is up for discussion. I don't know. I doubt it's going to be, the Tiana level or the Belle level or the Elsa level animatronic. I doubt that. I feel like it's going to be a little bit more modest, but that's fine. If you ask me, anything practical is better than projected, in my opinion. I would even go so far as to say that about the hitchhiking ghosts, but I'll give them a pass on that one because the hitchhiking ghost effect was kind of okay at best. But I love this. I absolutely love that they are going to a more practical Bride here. If that rumor is true, by the way, I'm reasonably confident, 95% on this, and it's really, really exciting. And I'm really grateful that Disney has chosen, because they've been moving. It didn't work. It was. I get why they did it to begin with. I understand why they wanted to give, because we saw it at Frozen Ever After in Epcot, and we saw them at Snow White. The dwarves have a projected face. I think they still have them, right? They're here as well. Same thing. They're okay, but nothing beats a practical animatronic, in my opinion. And I feel like the Bride deserves the best in the attic. The Bride deserves the best, and I'm very grateful. So stay tuned. I have a feeling, as this rumor starts to gain momentum, that Disney's going to make an announcement. Look for something on the Disney Park blog, probably in the near future. Exciting, right? So there's your big story for this week. Your two headlines, themed elements in the queue, and a rumor of a practical Bride in the attic. Same backstory, though, as far as I know. I haven't heard any changes to the backstory. Let's keep going on the Mark Twain. Looking for anything fun to observe here. Nothing in the turnaround. Nothing at the front of the mountain. Status quo here. through Critter Country. Again, big pile of dirt. They're moving a lot of dirt around back here, but it's kind of in that same mode that we saw them in last week. But do look for concrete here in probably the next couple of weeks. Nothing to report on that section of Tiana's. Back to Critter Country, holes in the wall, mountainside that still needs to have its theming finished. They need to finish whatever they're doing behind that cutout area, and we're still looking to see what they're going to do with that green spray paint on the hillside there, and then a big pile of dirt. Are they putting the dirt back, or are they digging? That action looks to me like a dig. That looks like a dig action to me. We'll just jump right away from the Mark Twain to the monorail. And look at that. They've made a fair amount of progress in the last couple of weeks on this back side of the retail building. Looks good. I want to, in future episodes, I want to start looking at the very rear part of that to see if there's anything noticeable with respect to whatever it is that they want to build on that open space there that's next to the parking lot for the Grand Californian. And then as we come around the other side of the scrim, you can see they've put up there's wood. They've actually applied a wood facade now to that structure. Next up will be the actual wall. Well, first the sheathing and then the wall. Still a dead end at the far side there where the old back check used to be. And it looks like they're nearing the finish line for Din Tai Fung. Take a quick peek and we can see that there's not a lot left for them to do out here. That the planter looks done, the steps look done, the facade looks done, the concrete, everything. As a matter of fact, Din Tai Fung agrees. The walls came down. We got this photo from the Fresh Baked Street team on Twitter. The walls came down on Saturday, so we can walk right up there and check it out. That looks really, really nice. That's a very inviting place to go dine. That's a very big restaurant too, by the way. I'm not sure if we've ever commented on that. That is going to be an enormous place to eat. All right, the Parkside Market. This week it looks like, we mentioned that there's some new wood paneling that's been added there, getting ready to add the sheathing. We got some crews working there at the roof line, drilling in, applying some of that metal surface there. Wall surfaces have been applied on the rear part of that bar area in the back. And then there's that, what I'm assuming is going to be a bar. You can see there's sort of an oval or circular shape to that steel on the ceiling. I'm guessing bar there. It could be dining in the round. No update on the rear section. This is the area where we're looking for them to build Earl of Sandwich or something back there. Nothing happening there. Nothing happening at the retail building. We saw a permit get filed about the removal of a fountain in downtown Disney. Now, there's a couple, but my expectation, my belief is going to be this one because we're tearing down Tortilla Joe's anyway. Stay tuned for that, but look for this fountain to be removed. We'll go to DCA next for finally something to report on at the Blue Sky Cellar. Actually, it's not the Blue Sky Cellar anymore. Walls are down at this previous location. It looks like they've installed some windows. I do not believe that those windows were there before, right? That was just like a wood paneling thing. Walls are down out here in the front, the entrance area to the old Blue Sky Cellar, which is now obviously the Golden Vine House Disney Vacation Club. All there on the sign. So there you go. That's newly themed or newly updated area there. This is going to be for DVC members only, this space. I don't know if regular guests are going to be able to walk up there. Maybe you just can't get in. I would still love to be able to walk up those steps and look out into the walkway. Hopefully that'll remain to be the case. But it's a welcome home center, the Golden Wine House. There you go. Still waiting for them to put up the net. This is going to be a little minute, I think, before we get to see this, but that's what those walls are for. At the Paradise Garden, they're installing a net to capture anything lost by those guests riding on Goofy Sky School to protect the people down below, if you were wondering what that was for. And then Redwood Creek Challenge, as as we know that they've been updating things for a while. We haven't really seen much happening. A few things stripped here or there. We talked about last week that this is going to be, they're doing this mostly for just kind of updating the space and then making permanent those parts for Oogie Boogie Villains Grove. We are behind schedule now. I mentioned that in the last update that I felt like they were behind schedule. We have a new closing date for Redwood Creek as per the Disneyland website of July 22nd. So about a month and a week, 5 weeks from now. So about 5 weeks from now. They are behind schedule there. And that's it for construction updates. I have one more bit of commentary for you all. Again, last week we reported on the entertainment cancellations for Doctor Strange and the Golden Horseshoe. There's been further updates to the calendar. These shows are not canceled, but Disney has reduced the show times for a selection of events, and there could be more still. And this is all at DCA, by the way. Citizens of Buena Vista Street, that schedule, I think it's going to happen in the 1st of July. Look for this to start in the 1st of July. Citizens of Main Street are going to be off Thursdays and Fridays. They're going to appear in the parks only Monday through Wednesday and then Saturday and Sunday. Five and Dime is still full-time, 7 days a week. Avengers Assemble is going to be off, no shows on Thursdays or Fridays. The Guardians of the Galaxy Awesome Dance-Off is going to be reduced to 5 days a week also. No shows on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And then the Green Army Men, 7 days a week. The Spider-Man show is still 7 days a week. And then the Dora Milaje have also had their schedules cut. As best as I can tell, Sunday and Monday they will be off. No Dora Milaje at Avengers Campus Sunday through Monday. This is bad. Obviously, we don't like to see these shows cut, and especially when it comes to Avengers Campus, which, as we've talked about and will continue to talk about, the whole place was designed and built to be more than just rides. That the show, the characters, were a major component of this space in a way that we would say, hey, they did this better at Avengers Campus than they did at Galaxy's Edge. At least Avengers Campus got that right. We're seeing now that it's being reduced. I will say, though, the fact that this is just happening at DCA and not at Disneyland is a sign that I feel like this scenario might be different. Super upset about the cancellation of Doctor Strange. Super upset about the cancellation of the Golden Horseshoe Piano Player and things, and what's happening at Tom Sawyer Island, for example, which is a smaller, more nuanced story that we could get into later, but there are things happening there on that island as well. You might have noticed that island ain't what it used to be. I digress. I feel like this particular part of the story, which is something we're going to talk about in our next State of DCA report, that there's something else at play here. What that could be, I'm not sure. But I feel like there is a reason why it's happening mostly just at DCA, and even more so, mostly just at Avengers Campus. We're going to keep our eyes and ears open for this story to see how it develops, but I do think that we are going to be seeing something happen here. By the way, we could also see, now that I mention it, a reduced schedule for the Green Army Men and Five and Dime. That's still a possibility. It is the only thing that's left that I can see that would not be affected is the Spider-Man stunt show. They start cutting that show, and that's when I'll definitely I'll have things to say. But there you go, guys. That is our weekly construction report. What do you think? How about that? How about a practical animatronic, possibly rumored at the Haunted Mansion, but bummed out about what's happening in entertainment still at the Disneyland Resort? Make your voice heard. Complain to the Disney company. You can go to the Main Street, or you can go to the City Hall, or you can submit a complaint through the chat, or you can even just call them up. Call them up. Send them an email. That information, the phone number and the email, is available online on their website. Otherwise, check out our most recent updates, guys. There's a new Q Science episode just dropped on on Friday. We did a midday strategy session, how to take advantage of the parade effect, and then obviously our last State of Disneyland report. Watch for those, and stay tuned for more from Fresh Baked. We love you. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. And fresh baked.